Ring, ring, ring. Pew, pew, pew.
Are you laughing at your own jokes again?
Hello, Sims and Virgins, and welcome back to Krown's Magical
It's so rude. So unbelievably rude as I turn down the volume over here. And I want to say a good morning to everyone out there in cryptocurrency land. It is a weird time within this world, but we have each other right now. And I'm trying to figure out the goddamn bit rate of this fucking stream. And I think it's okay now. I think it is okay. But do let me know if the quality is a little bit not optimal right here, as I do see that things are finally starting to come in a bit more of a better focus. So that is good. Anyways, welcome to everyone who is viewing right now. Holy shit, man! Already 750 people in the building with 187 likes on the video. We're trending down, but you know what? We're trending down with the market, so it makes sense. Anyways, I do see a lot of familiar faces. I see Mr. Nimbo. How you doing, brother? Frig Diggler. Good morning to you as well. Colin Salveson. Good morning to you as well. I haven't seen you here before, so good to meet you. Renee J. What's up, brother? Crypto Chrissy. Lucas Ryan. Nimbo. No, I already said Nimbo. Filson though. Filson. Hey, Mr. Filson. What's up, brother? And I see a lot of familiar faces here. Oh, that was not a war joke? Oh, really? Pew, 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 like lasers? How could you be so insensitive, sir? Oh, it's Friday, pew, pew, pew. Makes all kinds of senses. Anyways, we got plenty to talk about here today, as Bitcoin did not initiate the next downside signal that we played out yesterday for a potential like max nasty scenario. Now, I wouldn't say that it's over just yet, but it has been averted at least for the time being, and it is not relevant to the analysis at least for the next probably 5 to 10 days. So with that in mind, that's going to be a big focus once we actually get into the charts. I also want to cover up the short-term timeframes as well. Anything else that I want to get into before we get into the actual content of the day? I just want to make sure that everything's working over here, so do let me know if things are kind of wrecked, but I think for right now things are okay. And what else was I going to say? There's a few other things. Yes, Instagram. There's a bunch of scammers on Instagram who are impersonating my account. Don't know why they'd be doing that, but they are trying to get people to, or they're DMing people to go and invest in their secret fund or do whatever the fuck it might be. It's not me. I'm not interested in anything like that. I have my hands full trading my own accounts first and foremost, and I can assure you that it's probably going to end in tears if you do follow up on whatever the hell they're trying to get you involved in. And then is there anything else as well? Yes, we do have the Krown trading application over here. Obviously, that is also going to have the premium features now live. You can learn more about it in the Learn More tab over here. Basically, it comes down to just more data, more pertinent data on shorter term time frame data feeds. And for the question that I get the most about it, yes, it does come with the Jewel Light as well. So, holy moly, man. Yeah, this is I feel like I'm still getting into the groove of everything. Almost 1,000 people watching as well. The pressure is on, man. The pressure is on indeed. So let me just kind of set up my charts here. I was actually entertaining my own early morning dumps, so I need to make sure that everything is... Why are you laughing? There's nothing funny about when nature calls. Anyways... Just yeah. I've been actually, this is like the first time in a long time that I've actually been glued to the news, mostly because I'm worried that what's happening to Ukraine is going to probably happen to Finland as well. It seems to me like Mr. Putin wants to reinstate the Russian Empire, and that does indeed include Finland. So anyways, we'll worry about that. I'm actually not joking about that. It's actually not a joke. It actually is quite serious. Anyways, let me just set up my charts up here. I want to make sure that everything's going to flow nice and steady. And let's see. Okay, so we'll start off with that. Yeah, I do want to address that situation first, and then we'll swing back on over here. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to record this so I can record it. I've seen some great comments. Holy shit, man. I saw a great photo over here as well. Like, what is this? What is this? Who made this? Who did this? I need to know who made this. Who's responsible for this great picture? Like, what the actual fuck? Was that Murray? It's under Murray's Murray Kerr's post right there. So maybe it's you. I don't know. Whatever genius made that, hilarious. And well, I just can't get enough of it right now, man. Holy shit. All right. It works so well, man. It works so well. Anyways, okay, cool. I just want to make sure that I collect my thoughts so this is nice and steady. I want to check out the funny rates really quickly here as well. Okay, so we actually are seeing 0 and -1%. Okay, very interesting. And also a key component of this is going to be the openers. All right, sweet. So let's get into it now with Bitcoin. I want to follow up on the last 24 hours of analysis, as yesterday I put out a video of what I believed the potentially worst scenario could be if we had a few confirmations that were going to happen last night. Those confirmations had to do, one, with the 5-day stochastic momentum charts over here, of which no, that was not validated. We did not see the closure below 36,300, nor, or actually that was the only one that we had in the last 24 hours that could have led into the next set of, of confirmations that would have allowed me to start to position towards a move like that over the next few months. The next few ones, which are still relevant, but I don't believe that they're, but seen as the 5-day stochastic momentum has not been confirmed, are going to become a little bit less likely here, a little bit less probabilistically likely, is going to be the monthly 20 simple, as you can see, as Bitcoin does remain above it, which is just under $37,000. So that's still going to be relevant coming into Monday closure for the month. However, as long as Bitcoin does retain above these major levels, I do look for this rally to continue a little bit further to the north side on the shorter term timeframes. However, with that in mind, need to be very, very careful here. Nothing's really changed as far as the medium and higher term timeframe ranges have gone. If we go over here to our daily chart, you will notice that Bitcoin is, more or less playing in the same regions. And the same chart that we've been working off of for the last 3 weeks now, it's literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing over here. When you get rid of all the wicks and whatnot that we've seen in the last week, which you can kind of just visualize by looking at the candle bodies, you will notice that, well, Bitcoin came down exactly to our level, which was the 618 Fibonacci retracement, coming off the high of $45,000 to the low of about $33,000 over the last month or so. We've seen this move play out, and so far so good, bouncing off this region, and we are getting our first target met to the $40,000 region based off of a bounce of the 618. Now, I should denote that on this more short-term time frame look right here, which I'm just going to zero in on it, the 382 Fibonacci retracement is essentially a continuation point for the same direction of trend. That does imply that if Bitcoin does start to reject from this region, which we haven't necessarily seen just yet, I would not consider this a rejection as is. Could it turn into one? Yes, indeed. We'll overlay validation conditions for that soon enough. It's going to be very similar to what we saw on the 5-day and of course the monthly as well, which matter for the higher term timeframes. But in this case, as long as Bitcoin does play below $40,000, any sort of a potential rejection around that region would imply that we do see the resumation of the trending move to the downside. In this case, same target's going to be relevant as before, very likely another move back down to the lows, and at that point I'd probably be looking at a break of the lows. Until that happens though, I do think that Bitcoin BULOS on the short-term timeframes, you're going to see a bit of an ebb and flow. Very short-term, very, very short-term, probably going to be a bit of a pullback right here, but pullbacks can come into a higher low status. So with that in mind, where would I be looking for a higher lows if Bitcoin BULOS are going to take advantage of this? Well, anywhere around about $37,000. Why is $37,000 important for the short term? Well, again, coming into the end of the monthly closure on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we will see, we'll see whether Bitcoin closes above the 20 simple or not on the monthly. If it does, then I do think that Bitcoin BULOS still have a chance, I suppose. If it does not, then historically speaking, that has led into the next half year to a year of typical major downside movements. All of the ones that we can call out right here alongside that, not daily, but monthly MACD cross to the downside. So you can see this one over here from August 2014. You can see this one over here from May, June to 2018. We can see the one over here from January, February of 2020, and then also one going on over here. But until we get that next closure below the 20 simple, that is what essentially made it more actionable as far as a long-term analysis goes. Until that happens, I will refrain from getting, or at least positioning myself towards major downside. Doesn't mean that it can't happen, but for right now, again, referencing that 5-day stochastic momentum chart that we were looking at yesterday, none of this has been confirmed, none of this has been validated. So while it is a potential idea, it is still not actionable, at least in the way that I look at things. And for what it's worth, on the other side, when we do reference the other lower term timeframes in reference to the 5-day, not only are we going to see the 5-day timeframe stay with momentum to the upside on a rather powerful timeframe, might I add, but we're going to see the daily actually freshly cross up here too, with and will be remain with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin's above $35,000. 2-day is going to be also still corrective here to be fair. $44,000 is going to be the magical number. Probably not happening anytime soon, but I would be looking for that to probably swing around maybe next week, assuming that Bitcoin doesn't initiate the validations for those downside conditions. And then of course we already saw the 5-day, and then the weekly, which is going to be closing today for CME, will very likely remain with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin remains above $35,000. So these pivoted numbers are going to be very, 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 very important going onwards and forwards here. However, I do want to bring up something that I think is really important that is over here on the Krown trading application that does start to ignite the potential of a major shift in long-term conditions. And what we're seeing right now is the global open interest coming down. We've seen the global open interest come down day over day for the last couple weeks here, actually going back to our highs at $45,000. But the specific interest that I'm having right now is over the last 24 to 48 hours, where we saw the global open interest come down to new lows on this move, alongside Bitcoin price action moving up, I think like 15 to 20%. Let's see what it is from low to high. Yeah, 16.34% right there. So what does that imply? With open interest coming down, price action going up? Well, a little bit of short liquidations, I imagine, for the late shorters who are probably front running a big bad breakdown. Again, it could probably still happen if we do get those validations coming in on Monday, but for right now, all good. And two, it would also imply that a lot of people who were probably short from much higher, they probably let go of those positions, or whether it was 40,000 plus, or people who are holding shorts from like way long ago, way back on over here. Those people are likely taking profits. So, and I think that's the people who typically are going to be moving and running direction on an asset like this. So that is actually a big shift in dynamics, because we haven't really seen that before. And that was one of the ways that I was looking for on this channel over the last month and a half, for open interest to unwind while we see price action go up. If we see something like that, that is a shift in macro, or I wouldn't say macro conditions, but it's a shift in potentially long-term conditions. Again, though, here's the problem with what we're looking at right now. I would not feel comfortable, personally speaking, calling any sort of a major reversal here as long as Bitcoin is below a very specific region on, at minimum, a daily closure, perhaps even a 12-hour as well. And it would be this, again, referencing this bearish retracement right here. I would be looking at the 618, which is at 41,500 as a major region. You can also notice that the green 55 exponential average is going to start to swing around that region as well. And as long as Bitcoin's below there, this is still technically or potentially another another setup for a trending move to the downside. Obviously, the 382, which we referenced earlier, just below about $39,000, would be on a much more aggressive move, we would expect, and that would very likely need to lead to new lows if we saw a rejection around there. However, right around the 41,500-ish region right here, that's where things change around, and where I'd feel, or not where I'd feel, but where I'd validate a very likely reversal on the higher term timeframes in this case. Remember, we already see all of the higher term timeframe momentum oscillators starting to head to the upside. If we go over here, I think even the 4-hour jewel was having a pretty good signal off of yesterday's low. I would not call this like you can't really be looking for a major reversal based off a 4-hour signal, but this was a pretty damn good signal nonetheless. And I think the daily might be setting up. No, it's not necessarily setting up for a full-on signal just yet, but it does have a potential to get that cyan signature relatively soon. Problem is that volatility looks like it's probably going to go into a bit of a contraction phase. So that is why I do still keep open my eyes and ears, or just open towards the probability that we could see this obviously land into a downside move. What would validate it on a shorter term time frame? In this case, yesterday we did say below 34,500 on a 4-hour closure. In this case, I would say we could probably move that up to about $36,000 on a 4-hour closure. Below there, I do look for this asset to continue on with. I would not just consider this like your next daily lower high, or not necessarily lower high, but next daily rejection alongside the 382, but very likely continuation of the trending move to the downside. At that point, have to be looking at the macro range lows, between about around $30,000 essentially. Until then, I do think that short-term boo laws have a bit of an upper hand, I suppose. I mean, we did play a little bit of regular bullish evidence on the 12-hour right here, but I should denote this here in the sense that yes, on the 4-hour time frame, we do see, we do see my my settings right there. No, we do see that there will be potential hidden bearish evidence if Bitcoin does confirm a local high right here. How would you confirm a local high on the 4-hour? Earliest I'd say that you could do that would be if you go over here to an hourly with an hourly closure below about 37,400. So again, we're talking about very low term timeframes now. I would say that that's probably the earliest that I could do. And then at that point, I'd be looking for that $36,000 region to be tested. Of course, again, I still would not feel comfortable calling like major continuation to new lows until Bitcoin closed below there on a 4-hour. But for right now, you can see that a lot of things are going on. And realistically, again, I want to reiterate my position that the validations for major downside continuation based off that 5-day signal that we were looking at yesterday, they have not been hit. The monthly, obviously going to be clarified on Monday, is so far so good. We are, I think, about over $2,000 above that pivot. Well, actually very close to $2,000 in this case. 36,900 is the magical number right there. Just want to see Bitcoin close above that region. If that happens, I would probably be looking for March trade sideways at worst, and probably a little bit of upside. And then I would call a reversal on the higher term timeframes at earliest with any sort of a 12-hour or daily closure above 41,500. That's a 618 right there. Full on confirmation, no questions asked. Targets up to low, mid, maybe even mid $50,000 territory with any sort of a closure on a daily above 44.5 or a 4-hour above $45,000. So those are the same conditions that we've been having for the past almost month now. So ultimately, what is this essentially saying? I would not, it's like on one side, I would not be on the same side of people who are calling this like the low immediately right now. I think that's a little bit too premature to be doing. At the same time, I'm not getting those continuation signals for any major downside moves just yet. I think at earliest, they're really going to be coming in early March at this moment. Until then, probably a bit of sideways. And on the very short term time frame ranges, you can still be looking at this region right here, 39,500, probably even on an hourly closure as well. Although I have been refraining from using very low term timeframes recently, just because things have been quite volatile, and this situation that's going on in the world that can really change a lot of things incredibly fast. I suppose I would be looking at that as a gateway towards about just over $41,000. So that does imply that Bitcoin does close an hourly above, let's call it 39.5. I would be looking for a test somewhere around 41,000 even to 41,500. Obviously, that can put the daily in a position, to potentially reverse at that point. So that's kind of the way that I see it right now. I'm actually not really making any major decisions myself, just to talk about my own trading behavior at this current moment in time. I'm only taking very, very short-term time frame trades. I'm not interested in playing long-term positions here, both to the upside nor the downside, because I just don't feel that my edge is going to be as good on those timeframes when we do have situations like we have right now going on in the world. Because it really, if things were to really escalate, kiss any sort of short-term or medium-term timeframe technical analysis goodbye. Yes, the higher-term timeframe levels very likely do still provide a source of edge, but at this point right here, I would not feel comfortable with that. So I think that solidifies my views on that, hopefully, as best as possible, as clean as possible. Basically, if you are in the very high term timeframes, it's pretty much as simple as this, and it's the same shit as before, basically. Below $35,000 on a higher term timeframe closure, bad. Very likely looking at a move towards the upper $20,000 territory, maybe like somewhere between there and about $30,000. Anywhere above about $45,000, very good. Looking for moves back up towards the mid to low $50,000 territory, and maybe even more over time. Until we get clarity on that situation for the very higher term timeframes, probably wouldn't be probably not making any major decisions myself. And I actually should denote over here that the leverage ratio, by the way, has taken the biggest downturn that we've seen in a single day since, when was this? Way back on over here on the great deleveraging of early December, actually. And then on top of that, another thing that's, I suppose, a little bit more on the short-term boolah-ish side would be, of course, the fear and greed indexes. We do see that the fear and greed index is once again within an extremely fearful zone. And well, it's not really actionable in and of itself, but it does provide a bit more of a bias on things, as does the funny rates here too. So with Bitcoin coming in about 15% off the lows, we do see that funny rates on a daily schedule are just ever so slightly negative, like not really worth talking about. And then on an hourly feed is pretty much 0%. So obviously some are going to be slightly positive, some are going to be slightly negative. This is still below parity, I should denote. So I suppose that would be a little bit more on the on the hopium side, I guess. But again, price action really matters most here. Underlying market dynamics are going to take a second seat to, unfortunately, global events, of which there's no way for me to know what the hell happens there. There's one thing that I feel quite confident about, and that's Bitcoin dominance will continue to rise like the fucking phoenix. So I think with all of that said, that is going to be it for the analysis of the day. And there you go. Hopefully that was helpful, sirs and zers. All right, let me reference some of the comments over here. I see that there's already a shit ton, which is insane, man. I do appreciate the support on that. Wait, where? I lost my water. Where's my fucking water? I lost my water. Baby, could you fill up my blue water bottle over there? Thank you very much. I'll just read off a few comments while we get into it over here. Hey, what's up, 2717? Have a good night to you as well, sir. Jack, hey, what's up, Jack? Good morning to you, man. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you indeed. Jost Van Dyke, Lions Beard Academy. That's a fucking mouthful, man. What up to you as well? Doggy Song Len. The funniest thing to me throughout all of this is that fucking dog coin over here still is so staunch that it will not go below 10 cents. Oh my God, it got just to about 10 cents, 10.67, but still quite resilient here, all things considered. You know, the thing is that while I could make a bit of a case for Bitcoin, I would have a much more difficult time making a case for many altcoins here. I still think that we're seeing the great bifurcation of this market, meaning that most things in this market are going to be trading sideways and down. Sideways during the Bitcoin upside moves and downside during, obviously, Bitcoin downside moves as well, like, you know, to a higher beta degree, obviously. But we're also going to see some of the, a small percentage of the altcoins do incredibly well. I think that we're at that point in the maturity of this market where we're going to see something like that. Doggy coin, funnily enough, actually quite resilient right there to give it its due diligence. Anyways, I see someone's requesting baby dog. Dear Lord, man, what kind of shitcoin drawers have you been getting into, sir? Very concerning. Maybe I'll hold off judgment until I see it. I'm holding off speaking anymore until I get some water, and there we go. Got it. So all good right there. Just checking on the stream, and hey, nice. The quality looks like it's actually a little bit better right now. Thank you, sir. Okay, you don't need to be getting all sorts of uppity about it. By the way, it's Happy Elden Ring Day. I just got that. Don't know when I'm gonna play because who has time for any of this shit anymore? But you know what? Time for a bit of a sippy sip. Do you think Catcoin can run much more? The problem is that this market is so crazy. I don't know if that's a joke question or not, man. I was so dead when I saw that says Cryptogenesis TV. Yeah, indeed, man. Smash the likes. Holy fuck, man. We already got 550 on this video. 1,500 people watching as well. All right, let me get to the actual comments over here. I see Fuckro. What's up, man? You are in rubles. You're in Russia. Holy shit. There he is. Get him. He's the enemy. Fuck this guy. He's Russian. Just kidding, man. Obviously not. Look, I understand that there's a difference between Russian people and the government of Russia. I understand that there's a difference between the people, of a country and the government of the country. They're probably not in alignment with each other. Anyways, glad to see you in here as well, man. Can you check out GRT short term? Sure, man. Let's see what we got over here. People are just people at the end of the day. I imagine most people from Russia, they don't want what's going on, nor do people of Ukraine, obviously. But man, you got bigger problems than your war, dude, because GRT coin looks fucking awful. Dear Lord. Short term, okay, so you said short term time frame. So to me, that means like 4 hour and under. I do think that you could very easily extend this rally up to like 39 cents or so, but ultimately I am looking for the downside to continue. You actually don't have a potential to make another drive of hidden bearish divergence as it is just yet. I imagine if you do see that drive up somewhere around 38 to 39 cents, you very likely will. If we go down to an hourly, already seeing some signs of some signs of weakness here, but I do suspect that you get maybe one more try to the upside, and then if you are going to reject, that's probably where I'm looking towards, more around about 38 to 39 cents or so. I do not flip around to looking for anything resembling a reversal on this asset until you close at minimum an hourly, or sorry, not an hourly, but a 4 hour above 39.5 cent. Above 39.5 cent, things do start to switch around. I'd be looking for this highly esteemed piece of technology to go up to about 42 to 43 cents or so. Daily look, I know that people are gonna be like, but Krown, there's a hammer dildo on the chart and it's on the daily. That means up. It's on volume 2. This thing's never gone up, man, for a long period of time. This is just garbage, is what it looks like to me. But short term, I do think that you could continue the rally a little bit more, to be fair here. I would only say that I'd expect downside first, targeting probably somewhere back down around your 31 cent lows, only if I do see an hourly closure below 34 cent in this case. Until then, probably trades a little bit sideways there. Coffee Vapor says USD versus the rubles, the Russian rubles. Man, this is going to be a hell of a chart. We could actually even look at like the Moscow major bourses. I can already tell you that they're down huge, like down big time. Wow, yeah, US dollar. This got to be one of the easier trades, and it's gotta be one of the easier trades. Dear Lord, man. Yeah, this is a multi-year. Sorry, not just multi-year, almost a 10-year long consolidation that's being resolved this week, in fact. So I'm going all the way back on over here to 2014, actually. In fact, it looks like I've already charted this out. I'm guessing that's probably on a monthly. That is on a monthly indeed, and we are seeing resolution this week, actually. So you're about to see almost a 10-year long consolidation resolved. That is going to be absolutely fucking explosive. I would be looking for this one to continue on with major upside. Probably up to, what is this, almost 99 to probably just tags 100 anyways, because it's close enough at that point. I guess dollars versus rubles, so that's quite the thing. Hidden bull. I mean, you don't need me to even look at the hidden bullish evidence, nor the weekly jewel signal, nor the weekly BBWP as well. This is a legitimate breakout, and that is absolutely catastrophic for the ruble. It looks like coming into March, I imagine. Anyways, I do want to see Luna. Is there some Luna spamming? You don't need to like shill Luna. It's like a legitimate one anyways. You know, you can just like go. Anyways, if you are interested, we could actually look at Moscow Exchange. We could look at like the top 10 index. I think that's going to be probably going to get it well. And there you go. They're trading like the devs. The devs need to do something, man. The devs have come into some major issues, and this thing just fell off the cliff of the earth right there. So I imagine this is in reference to, in response to obviously sanctions and whatnot on Russia. And you can see just on this week alone, it's down from peak to trough 50% right there, or sorry, from high to low 50% right there, recovering a little bit as of right now. But man, that is just absolutely devastating. And the crazy thing is, and again, I'm no look, I don't understand geopolitical shit. I'm no expert in that regard. I'm no expert in that domain, and I think it's kind of like cringe when a lot of people try to play. It's like, I'm a vaccine expert. No, now I'm a Russian military expert as well. But at the same time, this is happening without being Russia being removed from SWIFT, for example, which is kind of crazy. So that is concerning. That is quite concerning. Anyways, hey, what's up, African Crypto Warlord? Good to see you, man. Good to see you indeed. Anyways, let's see. I think we have Mr. Nick Haslam next. Says banned USD on the 4-hour and daily. Please, mate. Okay, mate, I got you over here. Banned. What's V2 over there? It's snowing? It's not going to stick. It's like plus 3 degrees. It's warm right now. Anyways, another shitcoin of a chart, man. Pretty damn bad. So this is what makes me, again, consider that while we didn't have the validations for a major downside continuation event on Bitcoin just yet, I do think it's relevant to remain on guard. I mean, this is not fucking good, man. Most altcoins are just an absolute fucking catastrophe right here. Look, do I think that you could see a rally up to like low $4? Definitely possible, but ultimately there is nothing at all whatsoever resembling a reversal here. Not even fucking possible as long as you're below about 515 to 520 or so on a daily closing basis. Short term, as you did request on a full hour, could you extend the rally a little bit more, maybe to 370, and then maybe play out a bit of a pullback down to 330 to 340 or so? That's probably what I'd be looking for. Do you already? Yeah, you will actually have potential hidden bearish evidence with any sort of a local high confirmed right here. Local high would be confirmed with an hourly below 347 in this case, and I would be targeting the lows after that. Until then, it's kind of like Bitcoin. I do suspect that you get a little bit of sideways, maybe try a little bit more upside perhaps over the weekend, but hard for me to get bullish on this thing as long as you're below, especially $5 even on a daily. Long term, pretty awful. It's just long term bad, man. Very bad. Very bad. Not as bad as a lot of other things that I've already kind of seen today, but not necessarily on the stream, but quite uninspiring to say the least here. So yeah. All right, I think that does it for band. I think we picked on it a little bit too much. Okay, Mr. Murray Kerr, what's up, man? Good morning to you as well. The happiest as well to you, sir. Okay, so you want to look at gold versus the pound, versus the pound. We can do that. I think it'd be more interesting to look at it versus the dollar, but maybe it's just because I'm an American, but we can do it. It's going to be very similar here, but probably a little bit less impressive, seeing as, I would imagine that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Now, what time frames are you looking at? Anyways, you're saying on the weekly and monthly, big bad moves up to 1890 to 2215 over the next year, a reasonable target. what I'd actually really like to do is look at the US dollar pairing, just because it does play more technically, I do think. In this case right here, do I think that it's going to move up to okay, so that would be new highs, like massively new highs actually, for gold in this case, 1890 to 2215. I can very easily say that I'm bullish on this thing, probably over the next year to maybe even 2 years. I mean, it's quite a big move over here. I suspect that it will get continuation, but you're calling a move for gold, which moves at the pace of molasses, from its current high to, or sorry, from its current price to, I mean, even like 1800 would be a humongous move for gold, like 20%. Can we translate that to the US dollar? I don't think I would say that that's like reasonable right off the bat. I want to reference this chart over here. I know that a lot of people are saying that gold's failed because it pulled back. Look, you're gonna pull back after retesting this range right here. That's to be expected. Yeah, it was a violent pullback, but we're in violent times right now. In order to get rid of the noise on a move like this, we need to reference the monthly and maybe the weekly. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Yeah, the weekly is okay right there. And I suspect that you will see continuation, very likely into a new all-time high breakout, maybe later this year. Don't know necessarily exactly where that happens, but I'd say that the next leg will very likely be confirmed with any sort of a monthly, which again is coming in on Monday, closure above basically where we're at right now. Here or higher would do it for me, and I'd be looking for at minimum another retest of your all-time highs, probably sometime this year, and very likely new all-time highs. But to call a humongous continuation move like you're suspecting right there, I don't know if I'd be comfortable myself stating, like let's say on US dollar, where would I kind of be looking towards on this particular consolidation? I guess, probably somewhere between about 21 to 2200 or so. I think that would be about right. But you're looking at the pound, and over the next year, I don't think that would be reasonable over the next year at 2215. I mean, because 2215 for the pound would obviously be a lot more on dollars. So no, I think it probably retests highs and maybe makes slightly new highs this year. But you have to remember that gold moves very slowly, and while I do believe it very likely reaches your targets maybe over, I don't know, the next few years perhaps, I still think that it's going to take some time. So I am bullish on gold. It's just, hopefully reasonably bullish on gold. And also let's check out the quarterly here. I suspect the quarterly is looking really good. Sorry, that's 3 week. Whoops. Where's my 3 month? There we go. Yeah, quarterly is very, very good. I am bullish on gold. I do believe it's probably going to make new highs, maybe later this year, very likely next year. But I don't know, man. Those are some pretty damn big new highs, man. I don't know if I'd say that if that would be my first target on it. Anyways, let's see. Matthew Bakeman says, whoa, okay, geez. Crypto moo, like a fucking cow. Can you do Cardano on the hourly and 4 hour, please? Can you do it? Can you like do it? Like do some Cardanos? Sounds like a fucking drug, man. Well, we still have a shitcoin of a chart on all higher term timeframes. Not that you seem to care about that because that's not relevant to you. Hey, fair enough. Let's go look at the 4 hour. Kind of the same thing as Bitcoin. Do I think that you can continue up here? I guess, I do think 93 cents or so, but long term, again, I think this thing's coming down, man. Yeah, 93 to 90 to 95 cents or so is kind of where I'd be looking for if you do get a continuation move here. I would not be calling any sort of short-term reversal just yet until you do see a closure of above about 95.5 cent. At that point, probably target a daily level, I guess, probably somewhere right around like 110 to 111. Again, going to be easy to watch Bitcoin for what Bitcoin does, because that would probably imply Bitcoin does break above. I think it was 39.5 on a daily or 40,000 on a 4 hour. Either way that you kind of cut it in this case, I'm looking at this as a pretty weak chart, all things considered, and entering into a long-term technical breakdown, which probably does bring it somewhere around $0.50 overall. But that's going to take some time, obviously. I mean, it's not going to happen all in one day, of course. And, I think at earliest it probably happens like maybe Q4 of this year, perhaps something like that. Until then, short term, I'd have my levels marked out. Where would I confirm a local high right here and thus target downside based off of the hidden bearish evidence that you actually, you don't even have it on a 4 hour. So yeah, probably more likely to trade sideways enough from here and try a little bit into the low 90s. Like let's say somewhere between about 91, maybe even as much as 90, 93, 94. I would only invalidate that with an hourly closure below 82.5 cent. And at that point, I'm targeting, again, somewhere around the current lows. Till then, weaker. It's certainly on the weaker side, but if Bitcoin trades sideways enough from here, you're likely going to see everything else kind of follow as well. Chato says, will ANC continue to be a good swing trade? I don't know are you... What's your position? I have no idea what your position is. I'm guessing you're talking about this thing over here. Never heard of this thing, but hey, it's got a really good chart here for all things considered. I don't know what this thing is, don't know what this thing does, but it's one of the only things that's actually put in a constructive rally here. There's not too much history, to be fair, but will it continue to be a good swing trade? I don't know what a good swing trade is to you. You don't even have a fucking time frame to give me, so there's no way for me to judge that in your case, nor should I, because at the end of the day, only you know your preferences best, and there's no way that I'm getting it from one single sentence on a YouTube comment. But do I think that this one's coming into a local high relatively soon? Yes. However, do I think it has maybe one more drive to the upside? Very likely yes. What do I use to judge the likelihood of a top and thus a nice pullback on something like this? I'm referencing some volatility indicator, in this case BBWP. On the 4 hour, we already see it kind of getting up to extremes. I want to see it get a little bit higher before I start to call for start to call an extremely likely pullback and likely consolidation lower. I want to see at least 95 percentile. You're very close right now. For reference, you're at 92.5 percentile. So it's pretty fucking close there. I think that you maybe got one more move, maybe one more move to the new highs. That could actually get quite crazy, maybe even around $4 or so. But ultimately, I do think that you're coming into a top extremely soon here, and this one's going to consolidate sideways and down for a while, and probably find some lows in the mid $2. If I had to guess, over the following weeks. Hey, what's up, Crypto Chrissy? All good, Chrissy. Could you please take a look at FTM on the daily and weekly? Yeah, I haven't looked at FTM in, it's like 3 weeks now. Holy moly. Let's see what Phantom's doing over here. And wow, not great. Not great on the daily. What about the weekly? And a bouncy area right here, so gotta give it a chance. I suppose I'll record this one as well. Let me just kind of set things up so that I can do this as efficiently as possible and get this one over here. Okay, daily should be turning up, weekly's turning down, so probably a corrective rally on the daily. Weekly, however, not easy to love for the current moment. So yeah, short-term rally. All right, here we have Phantom symbol FTM versus the dollar requested by Miss or Mrs. Crypto Chrissy. And she's looking at higher term timeframes. I actually want to reference everything here, just kind of get a general opinion of where we're at. But on the daily, first and foremost, what do I notice? I do notice that we are building up a few drives of regular bullish divergence come off the lows. And we do see that daily stochastic momentum is heading up alongside volatility expansion. So this very likely does trade sideways and up from here. Short-term targets up to like 165, certainly reasonable. And if you do see any sort of extension with any sort of a confirmation on a daily closure above that region, then I would be looking for somewhere around 185 to 190 perhaps. Problem is long-term, long-term, I mean, you're coming off a major area right here, very likely to bounce. So yeah, generally speaking, I do think that short-term you're going to trade sideways and up outside of this range. 4 hours, you can see right here, also has that same bullish divergence plus 4 hour jewel buy signal in order as well. So, I do think that you probably trade up somewhere around that 170 region or so. And then I'd play things by ranges in this case. If I do see a closure above that, above that level, then I do target up towards like 185 to 190 in the following week or two, or probably the following week. Ultimately, though, I am a bit split on the higher term timeframes, like the monthly in this case. Yeah, so while I do think that you very likely see a rally from here, let's actually put a bearish tracement on this one and just see where the 382 pops up. Yeah, I mean, even to like open up March, you might even see a rally up to like 210 or so. It does make me more concerned about it long term. Above about 235 is when I'd start to say that this one starts to look a lot better long term, and above 260 is where I'd say I'm like full on bullish long term. Assuming daily closures above that region, but until then, it's difficult to be looking at the very high term timeframes in our current situation. But short term, I do think that this one does trade sideways and up from here, and then have those major regions marked out is kind of what I'd say in this case. Not this financial advice, but above those regions where I do start to say, hey, this one is technically bullish again. Until then, I'm just looking for short term moves to the upside, and short term moves to the upside could actually be quite quite good on something like this. It's trading at 150, and I'm basically looking at a move, somewhere that's actually like a 25 to maybe even 30% move. So I'd want to come back to it after that, basically, because I do see over here, whilst the daily does have upside momentum, as does, I imagine, the 12-hour here. Yeah, both looking pretty damn good for short-term, medium-term, and daily continuation. When I do reference the weekly, for example, not great as it is. Not great as it is, as we do see momentum continue to move to the downside. So I'd want to see it in maybe like end of next week, after maybe hitting a couple of those targets and then come back to it. But for right now, yeah, I actually do look for some upside. I would only validate major continuation to, in this case, new lows if you get a daily closure basically below about 135 ish region. That at that point I would be looking for big moves down towards certainly below $1, somewhere around about 90 cents or so. But until then, I'm looking at bounce first, as I am in most things in this market. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Phantom. And to be fair, it is one of the more relatively strong ones, to reference our conversation earlier. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. Nice one, ma'am. Or no, nice one, girl. Or or nice one, woman. I don't know. What's the proper route of call on something like that? Let's see. Andrew B says, can you take a look at Metis, please? Sure. We haven't looked at this in a long time. I definitely recognize the name. I remember it only trades versus Ethereum, I believe. No, it does trade versus US dollar now, but I'm going to guess that these don't have much history. Yeah, not much history right there, so perhaps not so helpful. Yeah, not really much I can do on that. And you didn't really give me a time frame either, so I certainly do not know where you want me to go with on this one. But if we go over here, dear Lord. Well, the LARP line's played out. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, that was that was concerning. Again, a pretty weak chart here. While I do think that you could have an easy upside move, maybe even to 0.04 or so versus your Ethereum pairing. This is just a construction, or sorry, not a construction. It's all social construction. No, this is all just lower highs and a series of lower highs. And long term, I do think that it will find its lows somewhere around the mid twos, 0.025 to 0.027. What are you sighing about over there? What's the issue, sir? Yeah, again, not one of the best one, but you are very likely in a short-term bouncy region. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing pop back up towards like 0.04. I think at most it does is like 0.045, or sorry, 0.046 region. But other than that, I really don't know what time frame you're going off of. I would not, I think maybe another relevant thing, perhaps, I don't know if it's relevant to you maybe, but I would be bullish on this thing or looking for a major reversal above about 0.05. It's obviously quite far away, but it does need to be designated there as well. Anyways, JU says, good morning, sir. Okay, good morning to you as well, man. UOS. Okay, UOS. So this is UOS. Okay, there we go. God damn it, it's crypto. All right, it is indeed a crypto. Maybe KuCoin is the one to go to. Actually, again, not as bad as what I would have expected. Quite interesting, just to say the least. Anyways, you're saying on the daily and weekly. Also, my boy Chris wants to know if you or Elsa ever watched anime. Actually, yeah, Elsa really loves anime. I've watched Dragon Balls in college, and it was good. And also, I like anime porn. So you can tell little Chris that. Don't know if he wants to know, but if he wants to compare notes, I'm happy to do that as well. Hopefully he's above 18 or whatever age is tentacles. What about tentacles? Anyways, daily and weekly. Let's see. Okay, again, I was actually expecting quite a shitty chart here, but no, this one would be of the relatively strong variety in this case. Anyways, what would I be looking at right here? I mean, you got a pretty obvious trading range going on, right? The difference with this thing amongst pretty much everything else that we've seen today, except for maybe like one of them, is that it's actually been operating on higher lows on the daily, which is kind of interesting. And the weekly ain't bad either. While I wouldn't necessarily say that it's confirmed major low, like major low in this case just yet, it will be above about 140. We do see several signals that do suggest it probably does. We see hidden bullish evidence on the weekly. We see this low is being constructed in a period of relatively low volatility, and the weekly jewel has lost its downside curvature there as well. So while I do think that you might have another move down to $1 to test around there, that's not super concerning as far as I look at it. I'd only kind of invalidate this one and more importantly validate major downside move at this point, with a daily below about 88 cents. Below there, I do look for this one to come down significantly, and when I say significantly, I mean down to like 60 to 70 cents or so over time. But for right now, short term, it actually looks like it probably does play out maybe That's just sloppy daily. Short term probably does play a little bit of sideways and up. I'd still be waiting for a weekly above about 140 before I do say that this one has put in like a major, I guess even macro low in this case, with targets up towards probably around $2 in the following weeks. Pretty interesting chart right here, actually. Pretty interesting chart. Thank you for bringing that one up, man. Paul Garrett says, did you fly first class to Dubai? Okay. Oh, I get where that question is coming from. To explain that question, because it probably sounds weird to a lot of people. There seems to be like some sort of like a social media flex where anytime you fly to Dubai, you need to take a picture of yourself in first class. Yeah, we actually did fly first class, but I know I did not upload that to my fucking Instagram, nor did I to my Twitter, because obvious reason. I don't know, man. I get what you're referencing though. It is a weird thing, man. It's like people just want others to know that they have money, I guess, but I don't know, man. The way that I look at it is like you're just making yourself a target. It's kind of strange. Anyways, Matic. Wow, I haven't looked at this chart in a while, and it's still holding our areas, which is a better sign than most, to be fair. Anyways, you're looking at a daily and a weekly. Then I look at the monthly, and I'm not so sure about that, man. But let's see, short-term time frames. I know you didn't ask for it. I do look for this one to probably give one more move up to like low 150s or so. Daily, which you did ask for, I believe. Yes. Can you please don't delete them until I'm like done with them fully. Daily, I actually do look at this one as probably putting a bit of a low here, man. It's had several chances to break down. I think next move is short-term up somewhere around 160, maybe even 175. Just like Bitcoin, I would not feel comfortable calling a major reversal just yet until I think it was 41,500 on a daily closure. The same area for Matic would be about 187 for me, or sorry, 185 on a daily closure. Above there, I do start to look at this as like a major low being printed in, and very likely targets up to the mid twos after that. But until then, short term, I do think that you probably give a rally up towards like the mid to low 150s, very, very likely. And from there, I'd want to come back to it, but you can see that it is in place. Weekly, same thing. You're coming off the 55 right now. It's a bouncy region, so more likely to bounce around this region. The question is, does it get above those critical numbers or not? If it does, then hey, I start to actually get quite bullish on something like this, at least for like moves into the mid twos. For right now, I'm just calling short-term upside, upside from this region. So let's go reference it over here, just out of curiosity. Matic versus the dollar. Weekly is going to start to flip around about 180, so probably not this week, but perhaps the week after that. The 5-day will flip up around 161, and we are actually playing out a same trend line test from October 2020, July 2021. So that was this major low right here, and this major low right here, potentially a major low over here as well. But obviously that needs to be confirmed above 161. So short term, give it the nod and then come back to it next week and see if it gets above any one of those critical regions to extend targets or not. Fuck Rose says, yeah, that is freaking madness. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about geopolitical measures and whatnot, but just hope that it ends well and ends soon, man, without any more fucking casualties and just pain, unnecessary pain for people that, it's so crazy to me that like basically one person can do so much, like in both a good way and a bad way. Unfortunately, in this scenario, it seems like it's going the opposite direction, but hopefully clearer heads prevail. Anyways, you're looking at Luna short-term timeframes. Don't know what that means again to you, but I'm just going to reference a 4-hour and an hourly. Wow, Luna, powerful Luna. Holy shit. What's going on over here? This is cool. This is cool to see, actually. This is really good. Really, really good. I'm definitely going to record this one. Let me take a sip of this first. Probably is going to pull back here, to be fair, but yeah, one of the better charts. Here we have Terra Luna symbol LUNA versus the dollar. I believe we recorded a video on this one earlier this week, and I want to follow up on this one now. It actually has broken out of the top side of the short-term range highs, which is about 60 spot 69, which we did say I believe was likely coming off these lows. Short term, do I think that you get maybe one more try at about $70 to $71? Perhaps yes. I would, however, be looking for a pullback from that region, and then very likely some sort of a higher low to be set in the mid to low $60 regions. If you see something like that, that would be a really, really good sign. And to be fair, this is among the best charts we've seen today. I like what the weekly is doing here. Still would like to see it obviously close above like $70 in order for me to look for the next major continuation move to the upside. But Luna actually showing significant relative strength. We do see hidden bullish evidence starting to be constructed on the weekly. Obviously, that will be confirmed with any sort of a closure here or higher on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If that happens, that'll look really, really good for continuation into the next, well, basically into early March, with potential targets back up in the mid 80s, maybe even more. On top of that, if we reference over here on the daily stochastic momentum is obviously nice and well positioned to the upside as long as this one's closing above 50 and a quarter, which obviously it is. 5-day, which just closed last night, is playing out another trendline test, actually, a trendline that's been tested 3 times in the past, and this is the 4th time. Let's actually mark these off just to see where they do coincide with, because I'm curious for my own knowledge. And you will also notice that upside momentum will continue off these critical lows as long as this one's closing above $55 or so right here. And let's see where these line up with. Well, what do you know? It's this low right here. Okay, this one didn't necessarily work out as like the major massive low, so fair enough. This one over here, definitely a major massive low. This one over here, definitely a major massive low. This one over here, well, so far so good. So that actually is quite comforting, I guess. Yeah, I'm looking at the weekly over here. It's going to have a chance to flip to the upside. Technically, probably not this weekend, but next week should have a better chance. But 78, 75 is going to be the magical number 4 right now. Anyways, Luna showing incredible relative strength. So I'd really only invalidate bullishness on this one after maybe a short-term pullback after... Okay, I need to collect my thoughts here. Short-term pullback after a little bit of continuation, maybe gets one more try to like $70 or so. And then plays out that hidden bearish evidence that it is starting to construct here. Short-term pullbacks down to, mid to low $60 is completely fair game. Just looking for a higher low after that. If I see something like that on a lower term time frame, that's at the point where I'd say that next week or probably early mid-March, it very likely does set up for that continuation move. Into the mid to low 80s, and that's going to look a lot better than most of the things we've certainly seen today. In fact, it's certainly among the best charts that we've seen today. So where would I invalidate bullishness, or where would I invalidate this one, or perhaps just validate major downside would obviously be below about mid 50s, about $55 on a daily closure. At that point, I would be looking for this one to make its way down to, probably 30, 40 bucks, over time. But for right now, actually having a really, really good move. Bullish evidence come off that low right there. Volatility also heading up at the same time. And the daily jewel actually got a really good signal right here on the 22nd of February. That was the low, and then you got the momentum play 2 days after that, which is now coming alongside an extreme expansion off the lows right here on daily BBWP. So I do think that this move is actually real. There's going to be ebbs and flows, obviously, but actually quite good. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Terra Luna, sir. I truly Army One. What's up, man? Can you give us your opinion on short term on XRP 4 hours to daily? Thanks for the midnight laughs. Well, glad to hear that, man. Sure, yeah. XRP USD over here. Let's see what it looks like on Binance. Yes, this one coughed up its whole rally, of course, as always. But short term, do I think that it continues with the rally? Again, I generally have the same opinion on most things today. Yeah, I do think that it probably continues up to like mid 70s in this case, like 74, 75 cents or so. That's where I'd kind of be looking for a bit of a pullback. Should I record this one? Should I not record this one? Maybe not, man. Maybe not. Don't want to incite the XRP army. If I say anything bearish about it, they're not going to like that. Ultimately, though, I refrain from getting long-term bullish on this thing until it's back above about 91 cents. Above there, yeah, this thing actually starts to look really, really good, or likely good. But, you can never really trust XRP now, can you? But probably long-term targets up to about a buck and a quarter-ish. Monthly, how we looking like right here? Not great. Yeah, not great on the long term. So again, I really want to hold back on the way that some of these things are looking, because monthly is going to obviously override a short-term move like that. But, short-term, yeah, I do think that this one trade sideways and up from here, just as I think most things today will over the next few days here, trade sideways and up. If there's going to be major downside, it's probably going to be in like mid to late March. In this case right here, yeah, short-term, if you're just asking about that, I'm probably looking for a move towards 73 to 74 cents, any sort of a 4-hour closure above 74 cents specifically, and I do extend targets towards 80 to 81 cents. Bless you, sir. Bless you indeed. Cool. All right, let's flip back on around here. Nick A says, "Good to have you back live, Krown." Yeah, man, it's fun, dude. I definitely missed it, man. This is also like my social interaction as well. So when I don't have this, I don't have any real social interaction. I live in Finland, so there's that. Okay, well, I have my girlfriend, but social interaction, yeah, my bunghole. Anyways, take a look at IMOE. Oh, okay, you're looking at the Russian index. Yeah, we looked at kind of one portion of that earlier today, just the top 10 names there, but we can look at their official index, and yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad, as you would expect. It is getting a bit of a bounce here, and this is what I mean, like in potentially catastrophic situations. So we're talking like a March 2020 situation, or like a real World War III. Right now we're not at that situation just yet. You can look at like major long-term levels. In this case, you can see that it came down to essentially your 2015 base. But anything in between there was just a straight fucking knife through, and it doesn't matter. In fact, this looks really similar to March 2020 for Bitcoin on this particular drive right here. What's also interesting about this is you actually did take out your March 2020 lows on that wick down. It looks like it's going to probably close above, but yeah, just nasty, man, just absolutely nasty there. So I would agree with you. Bounces probably get sold up, but this thing's going to be highly volatile. It's like you got to have balls of steel to trade something like this in a situation like this right now. I mean, look at daily BBWP. It's been at extremes basically for months. Is what it's been doing, and the weekly is going to get up there too now. I wonder where the monthly. Wow, the monthly is just getting going. So. Yeah, in the monthly, you can see played off the 200 simple right there. So, these very high term time frame levels will very likely work, but, takes a bunch of patience. And it's like, how do you know that you're in one of those situations or not? Well, I guess in this case, it might be a little bit more obvious, but it's hard to know for the rest of the world, I suppose, because it's not there just yet. Cool. All right. Let's see. Matthew Bakeman says Cardano daily weekly. All right. All right. Carderpio, show me your herpio. Again, short term, very likely trades up here. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing even tag back up to like $1. I think at most it does. The upside is like 115. Long term, I'm quite bearish on this thing below about 160 or so. Yeah, let's call it 161. So yeah, short term sideways and up here, as are most things. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to get bullish on this thing, either with a daily above 160 or a weekly above 150. Until then, it can rally up, and quite a significant rally out that. I mean, it's traded at 85 cents right now, so even a move to $1 is like quite big. Long term, though, I do expect that it will see a continuation move down somewhere around mid a buck, or sorry, not mid a buck, 50 cents or so, somewhere around there. Long term, maybe probably later this year. Quarterly, not good. Monthly, obviously, we already saw that. Bi-monthly, kind of a bouncy area here as well. So short-term bouncy, dollar. I think that's what does the upside is like 115 to 120, and then come back to it after that. Obviously, things could change around, but I'd expect Bitcoin to also change around in a more like clear way, anyways. Just easier to watch. Joshua Graham says, can you please check Metis? Yep, we looked at that one earlier, so all good there. Frivolous says, would you think Sol is one that could do well? Okay, so you're a couple questions there. So do I think that Solana is one of the ones that could do well? Well, we'd have to look at it. I actually haven't looked at it in a long time now. Okay, it's below $100, so that's really good. Do I think it could be one that's doing well? It's not acting as one of the relatively strong ones. The relatively strong ones were like the Lunas and whatnot. I would say Solana starts to look a lot better above about 120, but short term, probably rallies up. Does it get above 120 or not? Well, if it does, then I'd be looking for quite a big extension from there. If it doesn't, well, where I'm going with that. But it's not operating as one of the relatively strong ones right now. Theoretically, I would think of it as one of those ones just because, it's got a lot of the hype behind it and whatnot. But yeah, hard to say in this case because the chart is not saying that, and I have to default to the charts because I'm a bit of a I mean, that is my edge by definition. So Ray would certainly not be one of the strong ones. I mean, what the fuck is this thing, man? It's not good. Whatever the hell it's doing, man. It's never known what a real uptrend is on any time frame that actually matters. Any sort of short-term bounces very likely lead towards long-term continuation of the downside. I think best this one does to the upside is probably around like 320 to 330. On this next move. And yeah, short term, I do think it probably rallies with the rest of the market, but dear Lord, man, Lord have fucking mercy on the soul of radium if Bitcoin decides to turn down, because this thing will just continue on with what it's been doing for basically the inception of it, which is very, very nasty downside moves. I would not be looking at this as anything worthwhile for a long time, man. I mean, shit, you know, this thing could even rally up to like $6.50. It would mean absolutely nothing on the weekly. You know, this thing's very likely going to have its bounces, and you're probably going to hate me because I'm going to say this thing generally is going to come much, much lower, but you know, you're going to have your bounces. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. Pretty fucking awful chart though. Let's see. Yeti Goose says, "Yo, Krown, I just made a pic of you to counter the moon, Dr. Evil." Wait, what? What is going on over there? Oh, you're on my Twitter. Okay. I actually try to avoid my Twitter replies because, man, some people can just get so mean and nasty. But I'll check yours out. Maybe I'll regret it. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, that's good, man. Sideways and up, baby. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Wait, is it in there? Yes, it's in there. By the way, I do tweet out every once in a while, man, but I cannot in good faith recommend my Twitter because I don't actually really tweet all that much. So you follow that at your own demise. Lucid Lorax says, "Sup Helsinki, what's up, man? How the F does someone who owns Tesla on October 12th know to hold it till November 4th? I'd have gotten off 10 times on the way up." Okay, so I wonder what you're referencing here. I'm guessing you're referencing some analysis that we had like months ago. Okay, so you're talking about October 12th, so that is right here, okay, out of this region right here, and you're saying how did you know to hold it to November 4th? I wouldn't say I knew to hold it exactly right here, but the reason why I would hold it from early October and just wait for this next upside move is because, you know, you're operating in a weekly uptrend. You're operating on a continuation move right here. I mean, this was a nice consolidation coming off of this region right here, right? You had a nice ascending triangle, you know, these higher lows right here. That does have a technical target. So this would be the best way that I look at it. I probably wouldn't have held till the ultimate high, but I would have held at least till this high right here, which was just under $1,000 or so. Daily, was there anything obvious? At that point, I look at my indicators like BBWP to kind of judge where like a, you know, a parabolic move, like a breakout move like this is likely to land. And so, or sorry, likely to have a major pullback. And, you know, once I start to see above 95 percentile in this case, that was pretty much right around the highs. A little bit before that, I'd say right here at a high of about 111.15. Did trade a little bit up from there, about another $100, but that's where I'd start to say, hey, this one's very likely finding its highs now. Hey, what's up, Hex Outlaw? Not sure if you've checked text today. I have not checked text today, hoping for a double bottom. Oh man, don't hate me, Hex Outlaw. You've been here long enough though. I know that you're a reasonable person, so all good. Don't have to worry about you. It's the rest of the Hexers I have to worry about, man. Dear Lord, I made a comment about it the other day, and man, it's just like, people don't like that. I guess people don't like that. I did watch the Richard Hart versus Peter Schiff thing, and it's like, Richard Hart, he speaks so fucking well, and Peter Schiff is just like so. He does not do himself any justice, man. Like, I could understand an argument for gold, but him being the face of gold is just terrible for gold. Like, he argues so awfully, man. So when Richard Hart just responds in a very clean, calm manner and clear manner, like he looks so much better, man. He certainly won that debate. Anyways, I like XRP, but not Hex. Are they supposed to be the same thing? I don't know. Kind of the same sort of communities, right? Where it's like people kind of fall in love with their asset. But anyways, looking at this right here, is it a double bottom? So double bottoms and double tops, in my experience, they never work. Here's the thing. People typically look at double tops and double bottoms as like, that is the low for forever and that is the high for forever. In my experience, it typically provides, in this case, a double bottom, very likely a bounce from those regions. So I would be looking for a bounce from this region here. I mean, you're getting it right now, obviously. Probably trades more north from here, maybe into the mid-teen, 15, what is this, like 16 to 18 cents, I think is possible. But long term, I almost never see double bottoms or double tops actually hold up on the macro scale, because theoretically, do you ever really get two chances in the market to buy the bottom or to sell the top, especially in terms of like top? I mean, almost never do you see that. You very likely will see a pullback, but that high usually does get broken over a long enough period of time. Anyways, in this case right here, I do think that you will trade sideways and up from here, but just be aware of where you are in the grand scheme of things, where you are in the macro scale. And I would not say that this is likely to be like the low, so to speak. I think this one can trade up quite significantly from here, even to like 18 cents. But I have no reason to take away my bearishness on something like this, especially as long as you're below like 28 cents, kind of the same areas before. You can see all these rejections right here. I generally look for this one to trade after a bit of a bounce here, sideways and down into the end of the year. Maybe not into the end of the year, but sometime later this year, let's say. I still think it's probably coming down down into single digits. We've gotten very close to that already. So it's not much of a call now, but it was, if I do toot my own horn in this case, it was when this thing was trading at like 30 cents plus. Generally, kind of a long way of saying, short-term bouncy, and I do think that it will bounce from this region, likely. It's a little bit more on the weaker side right now, to be fair, but if the rest of the market bounces, this thing very likely bounces with it. Long-term, however, I don't really have any reason to be anything but bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're below, 18, 20 cents. 20 cents would be, about 21 cents would be kind of where I start to alleviate on the daily. Long term would be above about 28 cents until those levels are reclaimed. I'm just looking at short term rallies as just that, short term bounce before long term continuation. But yeah, right now I do think that it will rally from here actually. Cool. Let's see. Stefan Doggeroo says, could the global open interest play as a descending triangle? I don't think that it works like that. You're talking about this right here. So first off, it wouldn't be a descending triangle because you'd want to see off the structure wouldn't necessarily be right for it to begin with. Like if you're looking at this as a chart to be just in its own way. And I don't have any reason to believe historically that technical formations work on open interest. At least I haven't seen that. Like if we see a head and shoulders on the global open interest, does that lead towards downside moves? I mean, maybe you could make the argument over here that you saw it, but it's just easier on price action and more obvious on price action. In this case, I do think that global open interest will come lower. I've even set in some alerts here on the on my own application for alerts below 9 and 8 billion. If they get there, those are some big pivots. The problem is that we don't know if that comes alongside upside or downside price action. The interpretation needs to be made with at least two pieces minimum. So that needs to be price direction plus the open interest. So open interest is going to tell you whether that move is is basically shorts closing or shorts opening or longs opening in this case as well. Until we see like both those things at the same time, you can't really make a judgment on it. Like I wouldn't be able to say the open interest is definitely going to come down from here and then price action is going to go up. No, I can't say anything like that because there's no way that would be like a literal crystal ball. I have no way of doing that, nor does anyone else. But what I could say is that it provides some what's it called? Like it provides some analysis on the move so that you know if the move is legitimate or not. So if, or what type of a move is it? So let's say that we saw open interest go down and Bitcoin go up, which is kind of what we saw in the last 24 hours. Well, what does that imply? It means, maybe some shorts got liquidated. I imagine only like the very over aggressive, low term time frame people would be caught in that. But what most likely happened is shorts closed, the ones that were in profit from higher, which also is significant. Anyways, I'll move on here. I see A Prod. He says, baby doggy on the weekly and daily. Motherfucker, sir. Baby doggy. Motherfucker. Oh my God, it trades versus Tron. Dear Lord. Saved my soul. Huobi maybe? Pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad there. What about CoinX? Pretty fucking bad again, man. Pretty fucking bad. I suspect if these are the charts indeed that I'm looking for more downside, probably new lows, man. Pretty awful. There's barely a daily chart, and I wouldn't even feel comfortable analyzing it. There is certainly not a weekly chart. It's been around for 2 weeks, man. Very bad, though. Very, very bad. Nothing redeeming about this doggy coin as long as you're below 4,000, whatever the hell that number is. Very ugly. I would expect more. I'd expect more sideways and down on any sort of Bitcoin upside move. I suspect that this one just trades sideways into lower highs. Let's see. Benji says AMP daily. Think 21 cheap spot 1 cent is the low or move to 18. Okay, let's see. What exchange should we go to for this? Maybe Poloniex? No, maybe Gemini actually. And you're looking at a daily specifically. Maybe a move towards 1.8. Again, another very weak chart here. So it's kind of the same thing as what we just looked at on the prior one. It's like if Bitcoin makes an upside move, I just look for this one to have a corrective lower high. On what? Look, baby doggy's a piece of shit. Like what sort of stupid ass chart do you want me to look at, sir? sorry for being a little bit rude there. If you want to look at it versus Tron, it's doing well versus Tron. 2 shitcoins postured between each other. I don't know, Trader Joe versus AVAX looks garbage again, man. Look, I'm looking at all the goddamn ones on TradingView. None of these ones right here that we already looked at are good. Maybe Uniswap. Oh wow, another phenomenal chart. Thanks for bringing this one in front of my face, man. I love looking at shitty ass charts. Shitty ass charts. Shitty ass charts. Shitty ass charts. Pour one out for your baby doggy bullshit. Back to the shitcoin gutter we go. This just got intensified. Are you done, Lex, or what's going on here? It's another 30 seconds of this? What the fuck?
Come here.
This just escalated way more than Russia and Ukraine. Sir, is this the right Is that it? He's done. All right. He's done. Wow, that was impressive, man. Okay. Sandman with the best comment of the day. What the fuck? Hope you enjoyed your doggy coin, your baby doggy analysis, sir. Okay, AMP USD, again, another pretty weak chart here, man. Wait, this does not look right. Hold on. Let's go to Gemini. I think Gemini's probably right. If it does have a continuation of the upside, probably looking somewhere around like just under 3 cent. But you're specifically asking, do you think this is the low basically, or does it move lower? I think over time it's very likely to move lower, but the question is, does it, do we get like a major rally here and rally up towards like 4 cent first before coming lower? It matters obviously which order you do these things. At some point in time, yeah, I do not, to answer your question directly, no, I do not think that this is like the low. I do think over a long enough period of time it will come lower. Probably somewhere around your target actually too. Maybe a little bit lower than that if things really get crazy, but probably refrain from saying anything more than that. Yeah. So I guess it depends, like what order of operations are you looking at for? Look, if Bitcoin continues up here, you're probably going to see this thing tag like at least 3 cents first, maybe even 4 cents or so after that. If things get really crazy to the upside, I don't know if that's going to work like that. Again, just be aware of where the pivots are on Bitcoin and kind of align it with something like this. But it is relatively weak and over a long enough period of time. Yeah, I do think that it will come significantly lower. I don't think that this is the low, for example. We didn't even hit extremes here on daily BBWP, so that's a really good sign that the low is not in. But short term is a low in. Yeah, I do think so. And you do have some bullish evidence forming here, a few drives. So I suspect that you are going to trade first sideways and up, and then over, I don't know, maybe later this year or something like that, probably do come lower. Cool. All right. Tree City West says, speaking of fundamentals, you're speaking to the wrong person. Could XRP replace Swift? No idea. Probably not, though. I don't know. Look, you're asking the wrong person, man. I'm not qualified to speak on that. I have no idea. I know that that's what like the XRP people are generally like have been saying for a long time. I would say it's probably quite unlikely, and just off the top of my head, but I'm not. I don't have a qualified opinion in that case. I don't have the research to be done. I'd just say off the top of my head, it's like, okay, we have a shitcoin here, and it's going to replace maybe one of the most important financial institutions to the state. Probably not. But that's just an unqualified opinion based off of very, very little. So other than that, man, you're much better off asking someone else, not me. Andrew G says, hey man, thoughts on ICP? Sure, I can give you thoughts on it. Like it would be better with the time frame though. This one's been sold to hell as well. Very, very similar to a lot of the other charts that we've seen today. You know, short term, do we see a continuation of this rally? Maybe yes. I think it could do like $18.50 to the upside if Bitcoin continues. There's no promises of that, obviously. I think best it does to the upside is like $20. But long term, does the downside continue? Probably yes. I don't think that this one's done just yet. Again, we're seeing volatility expand on a continuation of the downside move. So short-term rallies very likely do get rejected. I think best it does the upside is $20. Assuming that would be like assuming Bitcoin gets, I don't know, somewhere in the low 40s, I'd imagine. I'd only shift around my opinion on this thing, calling maybe potentially your first major reversal ever, which it's never known an upside move. It's never known like a daily uptrend. So I'd say this would be quite premature maybe, but above about 25.25. I think it's quite unlikely, but yeah, short term, I do think that this one does extend the rally a little bit more perhaps. Zeko says, hey man, what's up, brother? Can you check out Gala on the daily? Yes. Hey, we have a time frame. It's good. It's really, really good. GALA. Okay. It's holding up relatively well. I mean, it's kind of par for the course, but that's better than most things we've seen today. Again, okay, so you're on a daily. You know, the question is that the low? I think it's a low, and you probably do trade a little bit sideways enough from here. Look, if Bitcoin tags into the low 40s, I'm looking for this thing around 26.5 cents. Things do start to change around above about 30 cents. Until then, I would be just like Bitcoin just a bit more cautious, personally speaking, but that's just my personal style. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. You know, the obvious area to get bullish on something like this and say that it's out of the woods, to use that stupid meme, but would be above about 38.5 cents. You know, at that point, you can probably look back towards your December highs, in the mid to upper 50s. But until then, short term, very likely trade sideways and up from here. Wouldn't mind a move towards 25.5 cents. I would say that things start to change around above about 20, basically above that same region on a 4-hour closure. And I would look for extension up towards maybe even that 30-cent region. So it would theoretically have a chance, but I'd want to see those things confirmed first and foremost. Until then, it's lower highs, especially below about 29.5 to 30 cents or so. Hopefully that was helpful, ma'am. Colin Salvelson says Chainlink in general. Okay, so like a 4-hour daily, basically. Is what that usually means for people, I'm guessing. Let's see. I haven't looked at this one in a very long time as well. Again, probably has a short-term low in here. Let's see what a week looks like. Yeah, I look at this as basically a test towards the 200 simple. Probably going to continue on with the bounce here, as are most things. The question is, how high does it get on this bounce, and does it, take out any of the critical regions? For the full hour, that would be no less than about 14.45. Above there, I would extend moves towards like almost $16 actually. Hey, what's up, Nikki Page? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well over there. I saw that you're in what was it, South Africa? Is that right? Zimbabwe, yeah. Sorry. Embarrassing American, don't know my geography. It's probably actually one of the safer places to be right now, actually, in fact. So that's good. Anyway, short-term timeframes. No, we already went over that. Daily over here. Again, corrective rallies up to $15.5, $16, certainly not out of the question. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case, but we did overlay short-term time frame continuations. I would not be willing to call this like the major low until you do see any sort of a daily closure above about $18, let's say, full on confirmation above about 19.5. And at that point, I would be looking for big moves up into the mid 20s. But But for right now, most things in this market, short term, sideways and up. But I am on lower high watch until proven otherwise. Not because it's guaranteed to happen, but that's just the way that I like to trade and look at things myself. What does a monthly look like here? Not great. Yeah, not great. Not great, actually. So again, short term, let's see how high this rally gets. If it gets above some of our critical regions, then we can start to, we'll be extending targets, but I wouldn't necessarily, I'd want to come back to it after that, basically. Cool. Let's see. Crypto shorts. Can you take a look at US? We actually looked at it earlier. I can maybe briefly go back to it for a second. On KuCoin. Yeah, actually one of the better charts actually today. I just want to see this one have a daily closure above about, like 130, 137, sorry, like more like 141, 142 region closure above there. And I'll say that this one actually has a major low in and very likely trades its way back up, maybe close to 180 to $2 or so. I would be quite bearish on this thing with any sort of a closure below about 105 to $1. With new lows very likely coming in on this run towards 70 to 75 cents. But for right now, actually acting as one of the better ones. Short term, I do think that it rallies back up towards like 135 to 137 region. It's okay right there. Better than most. Pin my message. Pin my message. Where's your message, sir? Where's that message, sir? I don't see no message, sir. There we go. All right. All right, let's see. I think we have Alonzo Vega next. Just jumped on in there. CRV, daily or weekly. Okay, let's see where this one's at. I remember last week it completely failed, so that invalidated any long-term bullish setup that I was looking at, which this one actually did have one of the better ones, man, but that's just the name of the game, I guess. Anyways, you're looking at a daily or a weekly. Again, corrective rallies up short-term to 250 are certainly not would be quite easy. Wouldn't be asking for much. I do think 280 is, it would be my next target with any sort of a 4-hour closure above about 150. Sorry, not one, but 253. Then I'd initiate those targets. Long-term, however, it's problematic for me to be bullish on this as long as you're below 350. But is that short-term rally relevant to or not? I don't know. See what the week looks like again. Yeah, should play out more of a bounce from here. But long-term, I mean, that's a hell of a breakdown. It's kind of hard to be bullish on that again until I see a higher time frame closure above those like mid $3 numbers. Until then, short-term corrective rallies. Let's see what I'm curious where daily BBWP is. Yeah, still rising on this downside move. So while I am looking for maybe a short-term upside, might just be that. Anyways, let's see. Okay, got that. Mika's Adventures, what's up, man? RNDR, please, my beautiful gorilla-haired man. That's me. RNDR, okay. Yeah, another chart that only goes down. No, this can't be it, because I know that we have one that has more history. What was this? Binance, maybe? Yeah. Let's try KuCoin, perhaps. Yeah, more history, but that doesn't make it better. That's not very helpful. So this one already kind of getting a bit of a short-term rejection. I'd play this one range by range. Did you give me any time frames? No time frames given. Where do I go with on this? The thing is, look, if the rest of the market bounces, you're probably going to see this thing bounce up towards like 275. Problem is, there's nothing really bullish about this thing, especially as long as you're below about 330. So, corrective rallies could come first up to about 275. Second would be about 315-ish. Above about 330 is where I start to get actually bullish on this thing, calling a major reversal with targets up towards, basically almost $5 or so long term. But for right now, I mean, this is weak on the lows, not great. 12 hours already getting rejected. I mean, this makes me quite concerned. Most of the altcoins that we've seen today are still heavily bearish, just looking for corrective rallies. I mean, shit, it wouldn't even be asking for too much to get this one back up towards like 285, 290-ish region. But even then, it's just another lower high, man. These are corrective rallies coming off the lows. And the 4-hour, it does not have hidden bearish divergence right there possible just yet. So I'd probably hold off on anything else, but yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that, man. Basically, it's a long way of saying no. I don't think that the major lows, and I do think that this one will trade further south over a long enough time period, mid 150s, maybe later this year. Yeah, not great there, man. Not great. But short term, can it continue the rally? it's on the weaker side, but I suppose, yes, if you do see Bitcoin above our areas from earlier. Sean Waller, what's up, man? No message though, but good morning to you, sir. Suppressive Fire says, hope all is well. Hey, hope all is well with you. Oh, for Sean? Sean, yeah, if you could type whatever your request was to Elsa, that would be massively helpful. Hope all is well. AXS long-term daily monthly. Sure. All right, let's see where this one's at. This one will actually be quite a surprise. I haven't looked at this one in like 2 months, maybe. Yeah, pretty not great there. Okay, so you're looking at a daily to a monthly. Let's go reference a weekly here. I think that you are kind of in a bouncy region, but again, this one's acting relatively weak in the short term. You still don't have that hidden bearish evidence there, which is what I'd expect to see if this one it was going to like fall down sooner rather than later. Just like the other things that we've seen in this market, I do think that you could easily see a continuation of like 52 to maybe even 55 or so, but I don't really have a reason to look at this as like a major low, for example, until you're closing dailies above 55 specifically. And even then, while I would be looking for a nice $10 move to the upside, I would not confirm this as like a major macro low actually until you're back above about 69, actually great number right there. Above there, actually would look at this as a macro low. Until then, I'm just looking at, rallies into lower highs and probably continuation lower. I'm still more inclined to say that a lot of these things are going to bounce here. So, if it does start to clear above those regions, or if you see Bitcoin above its critical regions, namely 41,500, we're going to very likely see big rallies within this market. But I default to Bitcoin because it's so much more clean and clear in this case. Whereas Axie is actually acting relatively weak in the short term. So fair enough there, man. Fair enough. Let's see. I think that's actually it. I see Matthew Bakeman again, but no message as well. So maybe I'll stick around for a few seconds here and chat it out with the chats here. But my voice is starting to fail me, but I think I can survive another 5-10 minutes. Andrew says, how was Dubai? Always wanted to go. Favorite part? Dubai is honestly one of the most impressive cities that it is the most impressive city I've ever been to in my life. No doubt about that. Whoops, did I just goof up over here? There we go. Yeah, it's the most impressive visually most impressive city I've ever seen in my life. No doubt about that. Zero questions. There's a lot of things to like about it, man. The weather's perfect this time of year. It's like 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, where everywhere else is experienced like an actual winter. But yeah. Do you have a vid going over BBWP thoroughly? Just downloaded your app. I do in the program and then also on YouTube. Yes, if you do just search like on YouTube, Krown Crypto BBWP, something like that, it will probably pop up. Elsa can't say enough good things about the hookers. She does indeed love the hookers. Our local friend there loves the hookers as well. They got it. There's a lot of demand and a lot of supply. But it's just different culture there, I guess. I'm not going to be looking at any more of these shit coins though. Certainly not SHIB. What the fuck, man? Too many dogs in the house. I agree with Philson. Like no shitty coins right there, man. No shitty coins right there. They're all bad. They're all fucking bad. And look, if Bitcoin plays at any downside move, they're going to get absolutely fucking nailed to the cross. So you best hope Bitcoin does have that short-term continuation move to the upside here. I do think that very, very short term it probably plays out maybe a little bit of a pullback down to 37.5 or 37 even. And then if it's going to try that move, it probably tries it from there. Hey, Critter Munson, we did close the chats. I'll just briefly do this, man, but we do have to be more stringent about this after this. Literally from this point, no more of the super chats will be read. We've already looked at Ultra a few times. Mr. Alonzo Vega, we actually looked at it twice, quite literally. All of these charts are basically the same though. Whatever Bitcoin does, they're going to follow. For AVAX, a little bit on the better side, the relatively strong side. Still want to see a 4-hour closure, specifically above 81.40 and 40 cents. At that point, I would be looking for a continuation up towards 88 to 90. That's where things actually do start to matter for the daily. If I start to see daily closures above 90, I would start to look at this as likely a major low being put in, and probably in the next couple months trading back up into the shallow $100 region. But until then, it's very important in my opinion to watch Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin falls through the cracks here, specifically below 36, you're going to see the rest of the market make new lows, and Bitcoin probably have that next shattering moment. So things are kind of fragile right now with the political situation going on, and if something gets announced that hasn't been accounted for just yet, or something new, then I imagine we probably, it just kind of increases the probabilities for that. So I try to Okay, what the actual fuck, man? How are people spamming though? Because I do have, I believe, a delay for people. Maybe I took that off. Who knows? I'll sort that out later. Yeah, Sean Waller, still no message there. Does Krown have some classes or something to learn the indicators? I mean, most of it's just free on YouTube, but if you do want to go through the fucking hazing process of my programs, they are linked in the description below. But I would not suggest it to anyone who's just looking to like, I would not suggest it to anyone who's just looking to like, you know, kind of dabble around or anything like that. Cause it's first off, it would be too much. I would imagine it'd be too much money for that person. Second off, I would imagine it'd be a humongous time commitment. And third off, like most people don't want that, nor need that.
Can you tell Sean that he backed me but no message? I can't.
You're not blocked, Sean, but what's probably happening is YouTube is like moderating your message because there's like some sort of banned word in it or something. That's YouTube. We can't do that. So you'd have to like find a creative way around it. Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for doing that, Nikki Page. Yeah, need to. Yeah, look, Andrew, if you're going to spam the same shitcoins, one of which we've already looked at a few times. Look, if Bitcoin doesn't have its low in, D-Race or UFO, whatever the fuck these things are, they don't have their lows in either, man. Yeah, try using dots or spaces. That's an easy way around there. Must be from Russia. Yeah, it looks like it. Let's see. Alex Sturgeon says, "Hey Krown, I've been watching some of your skill videos. Your ADXDMI video helped me a lot. At some point, I'm likely to sign up to the program." That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that you found some value in that. ADXDMI is pretty damn powerful if you know how to use it.
Okay.
Journal advice for back testing, please. Okay, so I'm guessing you mean journal. Okay, that's. where do I go with on that? Like, how do you do it? Or can you maybe try like something like adding a little bit more color so I can have some direction on what you want to get towards? Don't think Fed can raise rates anymore in this environment, right? I'd say that this would be a very good excuse not to. Yeah, I'd say so. Journal, no, again, could you please be more specific, sir, of exactly what you're looking for? Color is good. Color is good, sir. I don't know if that's in reference to you, but color is good. You look at Ethereum, it just spends a bunch like a degenerate NFT. I actually haven't looked at Ethereum all today. I imagine it looks exactly like Bitcoin. I suppose this is a bigger one, so you know there's no harm in looking at this. Yeah, same chart as Bitcoin basically. I'd have same sort of analysis on this one as well, man. Look, Ethereum back above about 2770. I'd say that this one probably puts in a nice rally somewhere close to 3,000. I'm not willing to call a major low until you do start to see daily closures above about 3050 or so at minimum. Full on, like no questions asked confirmation would be above about 32. You ever microdosed LSD? No, but I've megadosed it. It's quite effective, I can tell you. Why can't we just give you our money and you trade it for us for real? Well, first off, you've actually not seen my results. I mean, what if I'm terrible, man? There's that. But second off, I would not do that. One, because it's illegal, because you need to be a registered financial advisor to do that. And then two, I wouldn't do it because like I have my hands full trading my own accounts, and with my own accounts, I get 100% of the profits and also losses that come alongside that. If I were to trade other people's accounts, I would have the added pressure of basically having a boss, which I don't necessarily want. I don't necessarily want. Okay, I see. And also like I'd only get a percentage, or I'm guessing I'd only get a percentage of the winnings as well. So it's like, it's not necessarily like a great situation for myself. Okay, so Sean Waller says journal data, price, date, product, profit, any other info. Okay, I'll show you what I record over here, or I don't even need to. I can just bring it up because I actually have it written down. So here's what I record at minimum for my trading journal. In some particular strategies, I'll have some points, some other points on top of it, but this is always minimum of what I want to know. I want to know profit and loss first in a nominal number. Then I want to know the percentage profit or loss. Then I want to know the time taken on that particular trade. Then I want to know if it was a winning trade, and then record separately the time taken for that winning trade. If it was a losing trade, same thing right there. Also, I want to know if the profit on only the winning trades. I want to record that so I can average it out on just the nominal nominal basis, then the percentage basis, same thing for losing trades. And that's basically it. At minimum, I always want to know that at bare minimum. And then for particular strategies, I want to know like some specific things for it. So like, for example, in a recent one I did, I also wanted to document, when I was running this strategy, if there was also hidden divergence, did that play into it? So I'd go like yes or no, and then document, was that like a win or loss dependent upon that? Like, did it help essentially is what I wanted to know. So that would be an example of that. Zaid has a great question. Man, you must be new here. Krown, which alts do you see where you're bullish on for your own long holdings? I don't hold any altcoins, man. Or the ones that I do, I don't really consider altcoins, like Ethereum, for example. Any other altcoin that I hold is just by happenstance of whatever random situation. I'm not saying that altcoins can't be good. Obviously, some altcoins are going to be massively, phenomenally successful, but you're asking the wrong person, man. I don't spend my time looking at the long-term fundamentals of altcoins, nor do I care, to be honest with you. I'm just interested in trading anyways. So you're probably better off asking someone like, I don't know, Elio from Elio Trades, or someone who like literally spends their time digging into the fundamentals. That's not me. So I would assume the ones that I do think are probably going to be long-term good is like Bitcoin. Then you got Ethereum. Avalanche might be good. Solana might be good. Luna might be good. Those are the ones that kind of come to mind. But look, I'm sure that there's going to be a handful of just like massively, astronomically successful altcoins. I don't know what they are. Krown, VUG, get in or hold. Sounds like a shitcoin, man. I'm just curious what this could possibly be. VUG. Is this a stock? Oh, Vanguard. Okay, you're talking about Vanguard. Get in or hold. Wait, get in or hold. Those don't seem like they should be the two options. Get in or not get in, maybe would be the two options I'd think of. I do think that you found a low here for a while, but I don't know if I just blindly say that this is like the major macro low for forever. I mean, that can get a lot more nasty over a long period of time. I don't know, man. I'm not a long-term holder of anything. Well, I'm a long-term holder of Bitcoin, I guess, but I don't really think of it like that. Yeah, Phantom was done a long time ago. Have you ever gone over traditional markets like today in an analysis? No, we looked at Moscow, but we could actually look at. I would actually be interested to know what Now's futures are doing right now. Where are they trading? Are they continuing the rally or not? Yeah, it looks okay right here. Actually, kind of bodes well for Bitcoin and et al. I suppose. I mean, it's a good low in for right now. I do think that this one will try higher, but again, it's like, you know, we could very easily see a corrective rally to 14,350, and it doesn't mean shit for the long term. But you know, it'd be a nice move. So it just depends, like if that's relevant to you or not. Don't know. Ooh. Sorry about that. Phantom has massive TVL. Don't even know. What? Which one? Thomas's Krown. One of your tutorials to expect moves indicated for KB. Yeah, I think he took it down. He might have put it back up on a different name. I don't know, but I'd have to ask him. You don't have to spam the question though, sir. It is okay. CME gap, bro. Filled or not? Definitely fucking filled, man. Definitely filled right there. Yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing you're talking about this one over here. This one was filled like way back in late January. Are you talking about this gap right here? Yeah, that one's also filled as well. I don't see any like ones that are in the current vicinity of price action, if that's what you're getting at. No, we're not looking at any more shitcoins. I'm just chatting it out right now. What is Putin's public key? Did he buy BTFT? I mean, it is interesting as like a thought experiment. You know, why did Russia go out of their way to like legitimize crypto in their country before doing, you know, this aggression that they've had? I mean, knowing that they're probably going to get sanctions on top of that, which apparently they didn't give them like the full on sanctions, you know, like the really crippling ones. But you know, maybe he's looking for a way around it. I don't fucking know, man. I suppose that would be potentially a situation, but again, asking the wrong person there, man. I've heard shit like that all the time about altcoins, man. It's almost never true. Do you believe in the plunge protection team? I don't. I know what you're referencing there. It's no conspiracy to know that there is a mandate sometimes that the Fed like wants to support asset prices. Do you call that the plunge protection team or not? I don't fucking know, but like obviously, you know, the powers that be do not want the stock market to fail. Like, duh. So I don't know. I don't know exactly where you're going with that though. Let's see. Putin only wants Ukraine. He will be done for that. You sound like an expert. I don't know if that's true, man. I think it's quite simple. I think if you listen to what Putin says, and again, I'm no expert. I don't know if you are. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Who knows? But if you actually listen to what he says, it seems quite clear that he wants to reinstate the Russian Empire. I mean, if you listen to like these sort of dictators, basically, they always tell you what they're going to do. Like Hitler did the same thing. He wrote about it in his fucking book. It was all right there. Like literally everything that he said he was going to do, he did. Like you can't fault him for, he didn't lie. He was pretty honest with it. And Putin as well, man. And he's basically said, hey, we want, like the biggest tragedy of the 20th century was the USSR falling apart. We basically want to reinstate the Russian Empire. I mean, it seems pretty fucking clear what he wants to do, man. I don't know where you're getting your ideas from, but he will tell you, like, straight up. It seems pretty simple, man. He will, says Sebastian Vall. Maybe. Or you want it. Okay, well, that's a little bit concerning. Okay. All right, man. He's gone off the deep end. I mean, you know, you always want to understand, like, has he really gone off the deep end? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, he's obviously thought about this. It's not like there's no way that he planned this thing without first referencing all of his advisors, who are probably all very intelligent people. Like, you can't discount that. They're not like lunatics, I imagine, and figuring out all of the different potential situations. So, you know, you got to think like, what sort of tricks does he have up his sleeve, knowing that these things were like likely coming. All right, we got some very interesting people in the chats now. Pink. No. Putin dies via assassination on the 13th of June, 2022. Do you promise? What? Can I check my Discord? Sure. What is this about? Hey, what's up, Big Bob's Meat Stick? The moose NFTs. The moose NFTs. I actually don't have them on hand right now. But there apparently it has come to my attention that there is a moose NFT of both myself and Elsa. It looks kind of cool too. We'll get back to that when we're actually like prepared to talk about it. I don't know like where that's going as of this moment. I'm literally nocturnal now because I've been staying up to watch Krown for over a month. Sorry about that, man. I strongly suggest getting your sleep. It's going to be the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself. Man, how does this person get around all of the bans and everything? Okay, it looks like he's already hidden, so that's good. Anyways, I'm good. I think it's time for me to sign off here. We're just getting like a bunch of spams and shitcoin requests. Do you think the West sold off their gold to tank Russia reserve yesterday as a kind of sanction? No, because I mean, gold's bullish as fuck, man. I don't think like let's just reference the move that you're talking about. We looked at it a little bit earlier. Like this very likely continues. I mean, assuming it closes basically above like a buck higher than where we're at on Monday, I'm looking for this one to continue into the end of the year. Anyways, all right. They could be lunatics, could be, and also highly intelligent. Yeah, could be. But the bigger issue is there are other international leader lunatics involved. Yeah, true. I mean, that's the problem is like, you and I will never have the full information. Like, there's no way that we could. Oh, Mr. Mark B, the plum master himself, comes in with the most pertinent statement of the day. Go fuck yourself, everyone. And that's a great place. That's a great place. Oh, and here's a great comment to end on. Daniel Welch says, Krown, just want to highlight how great of a support team you have dealt with Elsa and Stephanie, and they are amazing to deal with. Yeah, they are great, and that's why we have them, and they are amazing. Anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure to hang out with you on this nice Friday, and I will be signing off now. I want to wish everyone well. Hopefully everyone's staying nice and safe, and with the head on nice and straight as well. So with that said, take care, and see you hopefully very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick reload.